Welcome to Plot 27. The film begins in the Amazon, Peru, 1973. Two researchers, Constance Webb and Ezekiel Sims, are searching for a rare species of spider. According to legend, the spider is believed to grant immense power. But after conducting research, Constance is convinced that the spider actually has the potential to cure hundreds of diseases, not grant powers as the legend claims. Despite being heavily pregnant, Constance is determined to finish her research. But just as she finds the spider, Ezekiel betrays her and takes it for his own purposes. Constance is shot while resisting him, and suddenly a group of mysterious figures appears. They are the people of Las Arañas, a secretive tribe with spider-based powers. Their leader, Santiago, uses the spider's power to help Constance give birth. Sadly, Constance dies from her gunshot wound shortly after delivering her baby. New York, 2003. That baby has now grown into Cassandra Webb, known as Cassie, a dedicated paramedic. She's transporting a critically ill patient with her partner, Ben Parker. They race to the hospital, fearing the worst, but are shocked when the nurse tells them the patient survived. The patient's son gives Cassie a drawing in gratitude. Cassie, who grew up without parents, has always harbored resentment toward anything involving family. Later, she opens her mother's old suitcase and finds a photo of Constance in the Amazon jungle, along with her research journal on the rare spider. The next day, Cassie and Ben are rescuing a car crash victim trapped inside a vehicle. Cassie manages to pull him out, but then gets trapped herself when the car plunges into a river. Underwater, Cassie experiences something strange. Ben rescues her and tells her she was submerged for 3 minutes. But Cassie feels like she relived the moment. Meanwhile, Ezekiel, now older and living in an apartment with a woman, and he still keeps the rare spider. In a dreamlike state, he sees himself battling 3 spider women. It turns out Ezekiel gained the ability to see the future after being bitten by the Amazon spider. Ezekiel plans to use a government facial recognition system to identify the 3 women who, in the future, will kill him. Later, Cassie attends a baby shower for Ben's sister-in-law, Mary Parker, with her friend O'Neill. The mood shifts when Cassie shares that her own mother died during childbirth. Mary tries to lighten the mood with a guessing game about the baby's name, but Cassie again experiences a time loop. Ben then announces there's a fire at the docks and all medical personnel are needed. At the docks, Cassie once again relives events. Firefighters warn O'Neill that the area is full of explosive fireworks. Cassie begs O'Neill not to drive because she has a strange premonition of a crash, but O'Neill brushes it off, thinking Cassie is still traumatized by her accident. Moments later, Cassie's vision proves true. O'Neill's car is hit by a speeding truck. Ezekiel's assistant, Amaria, hacks into the government's facial recognition database. They're searching for the 3 spider girls before they gain their powers. Cassie goes for an eye exam after seeing strange visions, but Dr. Ann thinks it's likely trauma from the accident. On the day of O'Neill's funeral, Amaria finally identifies the 3 spider girls, Anya Corazon, Julia Cornwall, and Maddie Franklin, who are all at the same train station as Cassie. Cassie meets Anya on the train and suddenly sees flashes of the near future. Moments later, Julia boards the train and Cassie sees Ezekiel attacking both girls. Just before departure, Maddie also gets on. Cassie urges all 3 girls to get off the train. Cassie hears a radio report claiming that she kidnapped the 3 girls and is now a wanted fugitive. Julia is revealed to be the stepdaughter of the woman Cassie once saved. Anya realizes they live in the same building, and Maddie is the girl who once blocked Cassie's ambulance. Cassie begins to understand she can see the future. She urges the girls to stay hidden in the forest for their safety while she returns to her apartment. There, Cassie reads more of her mother's journal about Las Arañas, a tribe that gained vision-based powers from spider venom. Cassie is shocked to see a photo of her mother with Ezekiel. Hungry and tired, the 3 girls leave the forest and go to a nearby diner. A customer calls the police, but the line is being monitored by Ezekiel. Cassie returns to the forest, finds them missing, and tracks them to the diner, where she sees them dancing on a table. Suddenly, a vision, the Spider-Man attacks and kills them. But it hasn't happened yet. Cassie bursts in just in time to save the girls. She scolds them for not listening. Meanwhile, Ezekiel is frustrated that his attempts keep failing until he learns the truth. Cassie is Constance Webb's daughter. The 4 stay in a hotel, and bond over their shared experiences of abandonment. That night, Cassie dreams she speaks to the Spider-Man, Ezekiel. In the morning, she reveals her hand was poisoned by him, but she survived. She teaches the girls CPR since the venom can stop a heart. They grow closer as Cassie shares how her mother researched the Amazon spider with Ezekiel. She decides to go to the Amazon to uncover the truth about Las Arañas and ask Ben to protect the girls. Cassie arrives in Peru. She boards a bus into the jungle and retraces her mother's footsteps. There, she meets Santiago, who explains that Constance came to find a cure for Cassie's illness, myasthenia gravis, a rare autoimmune disease. Santiago shows Cassie the place of her birth and pushes her into a vision of the past. Cassie sees Ezekiel shooting her mother and stealing the spider. Las Arañas tried to help, but could only save baby Cassie. The spider bite cured her disease. Realizing this, Cassie regrets misjudging her mother. Santiago explains that what Cassie saw was a part of her gift. He says her mind has a limitless potential. Once she accepts her role, a great power will awaken. Back in New York, Mary goes into labor. With her husband away, Ben and the girls rush her to the hospital, but Amaria tracks them down. Cassie returns from the Amazon and senses something terrible. Mary's water has broken. Cassie takes an ambulance and races to the hospital. Ezekiel, meanwhile, has Amaria hack traffic lights and prepares to attack. Cassie arrives just in time and saving them all. She orders Ben to take Mary to safety while she, Julia, Anya, and Maddie escape. Cassie tells Anya to charge the AED. When Ezekiel jumps on the ambulance, the electricity knocks him off. Cassie fully taps into her power, seeing the future clearly. She calls the hospital and asks for a rescue chopper at the dock. Inspired, the girls promise to always protect each other. Cassie plans to trap Ezekiel at the dock, knowing it's full of fireworks. She instructs the girls to load flares into crates. Ezekiel arrives and the warehouse explodes. They rush out and wait for the helicopter. Cassie uses her powers to shield the girls. Following her lead, the girls escape, but a firework hits the helicopter. Ezekiel captures Cassie. The girls try to save her, but Ezekiel is too powerful. As he attacks, Cassie recalls Santiago's words and finally unlocks her full power. She lures Ezekiel onto a rooftop, knowing what's coming next. Cassie tells him he can't change fate because it's not the girls who decide his future, but her. Ezekiel falls and is crushed by a giant sign. It collapses and Cassie falls into the water. A firework explodes, injuring her eyes, but the girls pull her out and revive her. Mary gives birth safely. Cassie, now blind from her injuries, is hospitalized, but she can still see the future. She sees that one day Julia, Anya, and Maddie will become superheroes who fight for justice, and the film ends.